We're live.
The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good Monday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. Of course, everybody knows by now I am Ed. Okay, just
Mr.
jump
Davis,
in.
how you doing? I'm just sorry, folks. I'm having technical issues, but how you doing for this Monday morning, Mr. Davis?
I'm doing a little bit better, my brother. Doing a little bit better. So,
how's the weather over there?
Well, nice warm days. Cold at night, but I don't know. We're supposed to touch on 80 today, so we'll see. But anyway, let me get into the
high 70s.
Okay. Let me get into this interest group thing. We got one interest group for tonight, and that is our support group with Dominic Martin. And that will be tonight at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Again, come on in, hang out. Dom always puts on a good program, a good group. The topic for tonight, is love maps in honor of Valentine's Day. You know what? I want to take this literally the way it's stated, but Dominic always has a twist to it. So, I mean, ain't no telling which direction he's going to go with this. So, but also for those that do receive our reminder emails, the link inside of the title of the interest group currently is broken. So to scroll down the page a little bit further and you'll get to the HTTP and then you can come in from there.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
You know, as Mexicans always do is get duct tape. We want to fix something, so.
Well, duct tape don't stick to cyberspace.
Okay, all right. I'll try that, but I guess not.
So, but anyway, man. So how was your weekend, George? You good?
Good. Just all of a sudden, this Monday morning, all my computers decided to take a little vacation. I guess they're still recovering. They still have what they call cruda in Spanish, a hangover, I guess.
Well, maybe they mad because you wasn't on them all weekend.
Right. I were watching the Grammys yesterday, or my wife was the Grammys, and it's interesting. The artists nowadays is not the same like when I was growing up.
Exactly. Well, it's even worse for me. I'm older than you. So,
but some of these people I never even heard of, and I'm like, I feel old. I'm like, who is that? But anyway,
Right. Well, I've never really been big on hearing a song and knowing the artist anyway. I mean, now old school stuff, I'm a lot better at it there, but as time advanced, so did my recognition of who was singing what.
It's funny that you meant we were talking about this. So weird that for some reason me and my wife just started talking about there was a movie we were watching. Anyways, about the artists that we or the actors that we used to watch, right? And like Tom Hanks and Morgan Freeman and all these people, man, all those people are in their like late 70s, early 80s, late 60s. I'm like, wow.
Did you know Morgan Freeman didn't become famous till after 50?
Really?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's 87 right now. I'm like, wow, I didn't realize Arnold Schwarzenegger is 77. And it just, Mel Gibson 69, all these artists or actors that we used to watch, right? Now they're the new group of kids. I call them kids because I don't know what they're Their names that
Right,
come up in
right,
the
right, right.
Oscars. I'm like, nope. But
Who is that?
right. I'm like, I didn't know
So,
they're. But yeah, it's just weird, right? When you hear stuff like that, it just feels old.
so anyway, I'm gonna get into these articles and stuff we got today.
We have two of them, right?
You got two comments down there, George.
Okay, I'll go look at that. There's two different articles that we have. This kind of ties in together right now. What's going on, and we'll go ahead and get the comments once you come back from the articles.
Right. So, what the hell? Let me get down.
Okay. While Mr. Davis is doing that, if you ever want to come onto the list, you're gonna email info@blindunited.org. That's info@blindunited.org. Well, Mr. Davis is looking for the link or for articles, and we'll be talking about DEI. And it's not a restaurant, folks. It's actually a program the government has. And this DEI really involves people with disabilities in a way where it helps us get employed and whatnot.
Right. So the first article, I want to acknowledge Costco and Apple amidst all the pressure coming from a lot of folks on the right. They've been putting pressure on a lot of different companies like Walmart and a lot of other companies like them.
By the
And
way,
they,
Mr. Davis, Monica says good morning, of course.
good morning, Monica.
Miss Katie Taylor also says good morning.
Good morning, Katie. Yeah, I mean, Walmart and a lot of other companies as well, right? They've done away with all of their DEI stuff, right? So in the midst of all of that, I want to acknowledge Apple and Costco for what they're doing. So let's play the article and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
Today on Coffee Time, Costco and Apple stand firm on DI amid political and legal pressure. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DI, programs have become a flashpoint in corporate America, with increasing political and legal challenges targeting their legitimacy. While some companies have chosen to scale back their DI efforts, Costco and Apple are standing their ground, reaffirming their commitment to fostering inclusive workplaces. Costco's unwavering support for DI. Despite political pressure, Costco remains committed to its DI initiatives. Shareholders back DI policies. At a recent shareholder meeting, a proposal aimed at evaluating potential risks associated with Costco's DI programs was overwhelmingly rejected. The company's board had urged investors to vote against the measure, reinforcing that DI is not just a corporate value, but also a strategic asset that strengthens employee engagement and business performance. Political pushback. A coalition of 19 Republican state attorneys general has called on Costco to eliminate its DI programs, claiming they promote discriminatory practices. However, Costco has refused to bow to this pressure, asserting that its commitment to diversity and inclusion is crucial to maintaining a respectful and equitable work environment for its 300,000 employees. Apple's resistance to anti-DI measures. Apple is also pushing back against efforts to dismantle its DI policies. Board rejection of anti-DI proposal. Apple's board has advised shareholders to reject a proposal from the National Center for Public Policy Research, NCPPR, which sought to eliminate the company's DI initiatives. The board argued that such a move would interfere with Apple's business operations and go against the company's long-standing commitment to inclusivity. Innovation through diversity. Apple maintains that DI efforts contribute to a stronger, more innovative workforce, allowing employees from different backgrounds to thrive. The company insists that fostering diversity leads to better decision-making, creativity, and business success. DI in corporate America, a turning point? Costco and Apple's stance comes at a time when other corporations are retreating from DI due to mounting legal challenges and shifting political landscapes. While opponents argue that such initiatives create reverse discrimination, supporters maintain that inclusive workplaces drive better business outcomes and reflect broader societal progress. The bigger picture. The battle over DEI is far from over, and the decisions made by major corporations like Costco and Apple will likely influence how businesses approach diversity and inclusion in the years ahead. As companies navigate political, legal, and economic pressures, the question remains, will more businesses follow Costco and Apple's lead, or will DEI programs continue to face setbacks? Join the conversation. What are your thoughts on the corporate fight over DEI? Should businesses continue prioritizing diversity and inclusion, or should they scale back in response to political and legal opposition? Let's talk about the future of workplace inclusivity and its role in business success. Now, back to the Coffee Time crew for their insights.
Well, no, they should not do away with this stuff at all, period. Just in, opposition to what they're saying, this is creating, what do they say, reverse discrimination. No, it was created to stop discrimination in the workplace.
But what's really sad about that, Mr. Davis, is that there has to be laws to protect us, right? Which, I mean, we're in groups that have led to discrimination. And I think with the DEI, which, in reference to us, is, becoming where the workplace is accessible to us, or they make the correct accommodations. But it's going beyond that, right? It's where the companies can hire someone like us based on our skills. Now, I think the discussion that's being done right now by the current administration is saying that on merit. That's why they want to do with DEI, which is, is baloney, right?
Yeah.
And I'm using the correct term because we're live. But the thing is, I think the DEI has improved, or it is improving the way of life for many people in different groups, right? And with this administration taking away that DEI, even closing down that department within the own government, it opens eyes. It opens up, what's the real agenda here? What do you think the real agenda is, Mr. Davis?
Again, we always say, know your history. There's been a certain group of folks ever since the Civil War that have literally wanted things to go back to pre-Civil War. You know what I'm saying? Where certain folks didn't have any rights, right? I think back then they were called the redemptionists, want to take things backwards. I hate to go here, make America great again. In certain groups of people's thought process, America was greater back then than it is now. I think America is greater now than it has ever been. Are we allowing the scab to heal? No, because every time something comes up, we find more and more ways. I mean, that there's discrimination. It's not only within people of color, but people with disabilities and so on and so forth.
Oh, Mr. Davis, sorry to interrupt you. Miss Katie has a good point, and I'm glad she brought that up. She says that the anti-DEI efforts will lead to getting rid of the AGA, and I say no, because the AGA is based on accommodations, whereas the DEI is more of a philosophy, how they hire people. Right, Mr. Davis? Would you agree with that?
Let me go here. I wouldn't put nothing past what's going on right now. But at the same time, I would hope that it has nothing to do, it wouldn't have any effect on ADA, right? But also, DEI is created to level the playing field. I mean, people want to advance. People want to move forward. People want to do better. People want to move up, the ladder kind of thing, right? And when you have people that have different mentalities, like what we heard, what Elon Musk is his excuse for wanting to bring, folks from India and stuff over here to be, computer engineers and so on and so forth. Oh, well, Americans, they grew up watching all of this stuff. They, were Indian kids. They were forced to go to school and learn things. I want to argue that point. Maybe in upper suburban, excuse my language, middle class white neighborhoods and up, yeah, that's very, very possible. But in the lower class neighborhoods, the ethnic groups, man, they were doing everything they could to go to school, to get a better education, to get a better job, to get out of the hood, to get out of poverty. So there's a lot of smart people that are now going to be allowed to be discriminated against.
At the end of the day, Mr. Davis, the thing that kind of gets me, I understand that, politics and whatnot, but everything that's being done, hopefully it's on a temporary basis where, when the new administration comes in 2028, all this nonsense will be stopped, because it is nonsense. It is an agenda by one particular person. There could be a lot of reasons why, or people could defend it for whatever reason. But at the end of the day, when it comes to discriminating against people with different backgrounds, either from genetics or birth or race or whatever it is, and I'll give you an example why this type of discussion is not good, right? So I saw a story over the weekend. The tragedy that happened last Thursday. Was it Thursday or Friday or Wednesday with a helicopter? And
okay.
Was it Wednesday? I believe. Anyway,
Wednesday, Thursday, somewhere there.
My point is, so all of a sudden, this article started trending on X about this particular pilot. That this pilot was responsible. She was part of was a pilot, and that. Well, anyways, my point is, this pilot they're mentioning, a Black Hawk pilot, is transgender, and they're like, so she came on and said that was he or she. I'm not sure where they're at right now, but the point is, this person was thrown into that conversation just because they're transgender. What does that have to do with skills, right? What does that have to be if I'm blind? What does that have to do with my skills,
right? Or
if I'm, I never understood how you're whatever you are, and I'm saying are because because they say us with disabilities. How is that defined? Because I can't see, I can't talk. Well, maybe right now, or I can't work. Or if someone's transgender or gay, they can't type a keyboard. I never understood that concept.
I agree, and that's what DEI programs have eliminated up to this point. I mean, and it does a lot more just beyond stuff in the workplace. I mean, I don't know, Georgia, you ever heard of what they used to call red line areas?
Not really. Maybe you might want to refresh my memory.
Red line areas where people of color were not allowed to live in a certain area.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've heard of that. Yes, sir.
I mean, DEI has done away with segregation. Okay? I mean, well, it's not all totally done away with it because, some folks in our society just, look up and black folks moving in the neighborhood, it's time to move. And then they go build a house further out in the desert or wherever, because they don't want to be around these people. Why? Why do you not want to be around other Americans?
And then, the thing is, Mr. Davis, it was really frustrating is that, now that, this administration is boldly or empowering a lot of different groups now or people, I guess. And you see it on Facebook now. Now they go, oh, if you don't like this country, go back where you live. I just had this comment yesterday made to me. If you don't like this country, go back to where you came from. I'm like, I'm from I'm from the United States. I don't know where you're from. But just because of my name and the color of my skin, that comment could be made to me. Right?
Right. Well, then let's go back a little further. California. Almost all of California, all the way up to the Oregon border, used to be owned by Mexico.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it was taken,
Yes, sir.
just like the rest of the country. It was taken from the Native Americans. It was taken from whoever, right? I mean, and this is another thing because of our our civil rights and stuff like that. DEI is one of the greatest things. It didn't come out immediately after the civil rights movement, but it's an evolvement of our civil rights. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's all done in an effort to try to do away with discrimination. I'm not saying that the best person should not get the job. Okay. What I'm saying is everybody should have an opportunity for the job.
But you know what the biggest barrier for that, Mr. Davis, and it comes into when we talk about ADA awareness or disability awareness, the biggest barrier, folks, for all of us, no matter which category you fall in, if you're white or if you're black or if you're Mexican, is perception. Right.
The perception that person interviewing you has of people of your group.
Exactly. Like, for example, let's say someone that, is transgender. They go want to work for, let's say, a particular sporting goods. The manager might be old school and, you know what, I don't think so. Or maybe a Mexican person comes in. I don't know because this and that. Because they already have their preconceptions about that particular person, right? And I think the merit, like you just said, Mr. Davis, the merit is what counts. Can this person do the job? That's the bottom line.
Exactly. As long as you can do the job. I mean, just like this thing we're talking about with the accident over the Potomac, right? It doesn't matter what gender she's claiming, what gender that person has turned themselves into, whatever. They still have to go through the training. If they cannot complete the training, they can't get the job.
Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Davis. Let me go here with me and you. You had your accident in '84, and I had my accident in 2012. Did you give a fleek flack? I want to say that bad word. What the person was that was helping you?
No.
The EMT,
but
did you care? I just wanted to save my life. I don't care if you're black, white, Mexican, gay, straight, fat, skinny. That's my...
Exactly. I mean, and then let's go back and look at, some of the accomplishments. Who did the first open heart surgery?
I remember about that, but I don't remember who it was.
I can't remember his name either, but it was a black man.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Okay. Look at what George Washington Carver did. You know who that was?
That name's very familiar, but right now I'm half asleep and half awake. Who is that?
Okay, George Washington Carver was actually in what do you call it? Where he was in agriculture and stuff like that. But bottom line, people that well, let's go way back. George Washington, he had wooden teeth. He couldn't eat with them things.
That's true. That I do remember.
But people still needed to eat, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the greatest source of protein you can walk in the store and buy right now?
Donut.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Peanut butter.
Oh, okay.
He invented peanut butter.
George Washington?
George Washington Carver.
Oh, okay.
Okay. What else did he do? He was paying attention to the crops and the land and noticing that by continually planting cotton, they were depleting the soil of the nutrients it needed, right?
Yes, sir.
So he came in and showed them, no, you need to rotate your crops. That way you can continually replenish the soil to produce proper stuff.
But what's kind of ironic, Mr. Jim, that I'm just thought about right now when you started saying about history, the Statue of Liberty, it was given to us by France. Why? Because all the immigrants that were coming into the United States, either from Irish, Italy, wherever, right? This nation is built because of immigrants.
Exactly.
And the thing is, now we're talking about DEI. I think the DEI is more of a political thing regarding like gender and sex orientation.
It's a power grab by a certain group of people to do everything they can to maintain power as well as control everything moving forward. That's all it really is.
Well, I just think that, unfortunately, folks, we have to, this is the way I look at it. I told Mr. Davis this. It was this administration. I won't even say that name. There was this administration. It's like every day you wake up to see what's going on, like we call it a soap opera. Like what happened over the weekend with the terrorists. So like, geez, these willies. So.
What got posted on Truth Social at 2:00 in the morning? In all caps.
And didn't that man sleep? Lord have mercy.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's amazing how many times he could post without even really having, or play golf, I guess, but that's besides the point. And we don't have any new comments right now, so Mr. Davis will.
Well, again, I mean, it's just because of all of this opposition, because of, we've been keeping track of what's going on in this stuff lately.
And it's good to have these kind of conversations, folks, because, this is stuff that does impact us. We have to look at what the picture is. DEI, well, it doesn't impact me. Yes, it does. It really, especially because our disabilities, we have a misconception that blindness leads to dumbness. Right. I
mean, bottom line, without DEI, we wouldn't have the ADA, I believe.
Well, yeah, and no, but to me, is we have to be careful that we do keep our voices up, keep the progress going forward. Because once you start taking the DEI away, what's next? Right. Now, I know the ADA will never be touched, but it could be morphed, or it could be diminished in the way, the capacity where it can't really impact people in a good way,
Well, I mean, again, my hopes is that the ADA cannot be touched either, but at the same time, we thought, legal abortion would never go away.
Well, if the ADA gets touched, I'm moving to Mexico. I'll tell you that straight. I just go down 4 blocks and I'm good.
Well, good luck with that one. We'll find a spot in the fence where we can hang out and talk.
Right. Now you're coming over me, man.
So, but anyway, but yeah, no, DEI is very, very important. So let me go ahead and get these little commercials out of the way right quick, and then we'll get into the next article.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shot. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
Well, again, Anybody wants a jingle, something like that? I mean, of course, that one is tailored for us trying to sell jingles, but
That was not bad. I like that. That's a good beat to it. Yeah, I'll tell you what.
yeah, I mean, he rocking my head. But anyway, you can have something like that for your loved one or whatever. It doesn't have to necessarily be Valentine's Day. It could be birthday, whatever special occasion. Again, there's just something we're doing to try
Graduation.
graduations, all of
Mother's
that.
Day. Hey, Mother's Day. There you go.
I mean, this is going to be coming up right behind Valentine's Day. So, might as well get it early and, have it ready to go, right?
Yes, sir.
Plus another, just so everybody to be fair, we're doing this as an effort to try to raise funds for Blind United. And the reason we're trying to raise funds for Blind United is why, George?
I don't know what's a good answer. I want to give a good answer because really, the most important thing is to have those interest groups. That's for me. That's the most important thing. Eventually, have our own center, of course. But I think right now to fund the events that we're doing now, or we're going to do down the calendar. But the interest group folks, I just think that's the best way that we could pass along the word on how to work with the barriers that we run into. For example, technology. Even support, like today, we have the support class, sewing, movies, and to me, just having the availability of funds, ultimately for me, and this is why I think it's important, is have a center for people with disability or visual impairment to go and get those skills hands-on. And that's my dream, right? Even here in El Paso. So I don't know if you want to add to that, Mr. Davis?
Well, I'm going to keep questioning you. Even when we do have a center, of course, we're not going to be able to get a center on $10 a jingle. So,
no, of course not. Of course not.
But what's the most beautiful thing about our interest groups, George?
Building bridges, closing those gaps, and it's free. All this stuff is free. And there's a variety of interest groups. I mean, there's 20 right over 20 right now.
Yeah, there's over 20, but you slid it in that one. You didn't emphasize it. Everything we do is free.
Exactly.
Everything we do for you folks is free. I mean, if you come in, we had ladies in there last night in the iPhone group. Man, George and I, we sat there, we expressed our patience. We work with these ladies, you know what I'm saying, that are not, necessarily the most tech savvy folks on the planet. But at the end of the day, they walked away with some understanding. And that's our goal.
This is my jaws. I have no idea what this, and I do apologize. I can't pronounce the name. They say good morning. I want to say it is Tishi and Garibado.
It's Tisha. Good morning, Tish.
I'm sorry. They're all stuck together, the words. So good morning.
Right. Well, they do it according to your email.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Unless you change it.
Not necessarily. Oh, yeah. Unless you change it. That's right.
Right. So, good morning, Tish. So, but anyway, we're going to get into this next article. I mean, again, the first one was about, congratulating Costco and Apple being two the major corporations that are standing up and holding on to DEI policies. So now this one here has a lot to do with how DEI policies have improved the workforce. So see you guys on the other side.
Today on Coffee Time, how DEI initiatives are advancing people of color and individuals with disabilities in the workforce. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, initiatives have transformed workplaces across the United States, striving to eliminate barriers and create equitable opportunities for all employees. While DEI efforts continue to face scrutiny, their impact on the career advancement of people of color and individuals with disabilities is undeniable. Today, we're taking a closer look at how these policies are making a difference. Breaking barriers for people of color. For many professionals of color, the journey to leadership positions has often been obstructed by systemic inequalities. DI policies are actively working to remove these obstacles and promote career growth by expanding leadership opportunities. Companies are investing in mentorship programs and leadership development initiatives to ensure employees from diverse backgrounds receive the guidance needed to advance. Implementing inclusive hiring practices, organizations are broadening their recruitment strategies, focusing on equitable access to job opportunities and fair promotion processes that recognize diverse talent. Fostering workplace equity. By eliminating bias in performance evaluations and hiring decisions, companies are ensuring that employees of color receive equal opportunities for career growth. Empowering employees with disabilities. For individuals with disabilities, workplace accessibility has historically been an afterthought. DI initiatives are changing that narrative by creating accessible work environments. From adaptive technology to inclusive office designs, workplaces are becoming more accommodating for employees with disabilities. Providing equitable advancement opportunities, DEI efforts focus on removing barriers to promotion, ensuring employees with disabilities have access to leadership roles and professional growth. Promoting disability awareness. Employers are investing in educational programs that foster understanding and inclusivity, helping to create a workplace culture where all employees feel valued and respected. Why DEI strengthens businesses. Beyond fostering equity, DEI initiatives contribute to stronger, more innovative companies. Organizations that embrace diversity and inclusion often experience enhanced creativity and problem-solving. Diverse teams bring unique perspectives, leading to stronger decision-making and more innovative solutions. Higher employee satisfaction and retention. Employees in inclusive workplaces report higher engagement and job satisfaction, leading to lower turnover rates. Stronger business performance. Research shows that companies with robust DI programs tend to outperform those that lack diversity-focused policies. The future of DI. As discussions surrounding DI continue, businesses must consider how these policies can evolve and expand to create lasting, meaningful change. Ensuring that DI remains a priority in the workplace is essential for building a fair and equitable workforce for future generations. Now, back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
So, bottom line, as you guys hear in the article, DEI programs have done nothing but help the work place and the workforce. I mean, by creating opportunities. I mean, let's go here. Let's say, small companies, they didn't have to abide by this stuff. I forget what number it is, how many employees you got to have before you actually fall in the category where you have to comply with DEI policy. But let's just say, George, you started a company and you had it in your head that the only people you're going to hire was Mexicans. Well,
Why Mexican?
Well, because you're Mexican. I'm
not. I'm Italian.
Okay.
Anyways, I see your point. I see where you're getting to, and you're kind of making what I was about to say, is that DEI or ADA or all these prerequisites, all these acronyms, what it really does, Mr. Davis, like you said, it levels the field. Plus, you would think on the company side, it kind of mitigates all the possibilities of being sued because of this or that. Just if you base it on merit, on skills, and I think you said this a long time ago, Mr. Davis. I don't know if you remember when you said this. Being blind enables us to judge people on their merits, right? Because there's times that I've spoken to somebody that's one time when I was being interviewed by a news agency here because I had done a lawsuit for being wrongfully terminated. So I was telling the reporter, I go, imagine a black woman coming here and she goes, Mr. Zavala, I'm black. I go, to my point, I don't know. I just heard you. I didn't say, oh, she's black because of her voice, right? Or when someone talks to me, I'm talking to someone, oh, I'm in the wheelchair. So I'm just basing it on what I hear.
Exactly.
Not what I see, what I hear, right? So I think unfortunately, a lot of times when we see someone and we see either because of the way they're dressed or the way they walk or whatever, right away. And I've been guilty. I told you the story when I was at Kmart. I saw two young men come into Kmart, and I was at the service desk, and I was ashamed to do it, but I called security just because they came in looking like cholos. And I questioned myself after that. I'm like, why did I do that? That's my own people. Yet I'm called the cops or called security for what?
Because of what they look like.
Well, exactly. But I'm saying I should know better. I've been around those people. That's my raza. But yet I had just the influence of other people made me do that. What I say is, cholos are bad. These people are bad, or gay people are going to do this, and it's just ridiculous. It really is, if you really think about it.
It really, really is. I mean, and my actual quote was, since becoming blind, if I were to try to find the blessing in losing my eyesight, is the fact that I no longer have the ability to judge people on their appearance.
Yep.
I don't prejudge anybody anymore. I can't see them no more. I don't know if they black, brown, yellow. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they male, female, transgender, gay, whatever. I don't know.
Now, there has been not opportunity. There's been occasions where I misgauge the person's voice. I'll call them yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am. They're like, oh, I'm a guy, I'm a girl. But the point is, I just basically what I hear.
Right.
If you sound like a duck, you're a duck. You know what I'm saying?
And then, I mean, again, a lot of people have been smoking for 40, 50 years, whatever. Their voice changes or whatever. And females might start sounding like males or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, again, it's an honest mistake. But, the point is, when you take all of those out of the equation, you're now learning to, per se, get to know a person on who they are, not what they look like,
exactly.
not what they dress like.
Let me tell you the story. Okay, so I think I told the story once or twice. So there's a gentleman a person I used to go to a shopping center near where we live, and I used to have a fade, right? This guy did a real good job with fade. Well, I say guy. His name was Bobby. And every time I go in, he would sound like you said, a cigarette, like he was a heavy smoker. How can I help you? So I'm like, yes, you know me, Mr. Davis. Even though I know you, I consider you family, I still call you Mr. Davis, right? Not Ed. So I'm like, yes, sir. Can I have a fade number 1 or a 0 on top? Anyway, whatever. The third time, we walk in, and I guess he was getting upset. Mind you, I can't see. He sees my white cane. And I'm like, yes, sir, I'd like to have, and he turns to my wife. He goes, can you please tell him how I look? I'm like, what? So I turned to my wife. She's like, oh, babe, he has pink hair, pink eyelashes. And this, I'm like, oh. So he wants me to address him as she. But yet, why couldn't he tell me? Right? That's the first time. I wasn't doing it intentionally. And I quit going there because it just got me upset that, I'm visually impaired. I wasn't doing it intentionally. It just, he heard it sounded like a guy. Or it is. He as a female, which is fine. But tell us, right? We're not trying to be funny or discriminate. I didn't see him, or whatever it is. But the point is if you go on merit, folks, no matter what it is, you're going to be okay. You really are.
You are. And then, my saying on that, George, is you can come up to me and sound like Barry White. If you tell me your name is Betty, and that's the point you're making, you have to tell me your name is Betty. I'm going to call you Betty.
Like me right now, I identify as a taco, just so that you know that. So
I thought it was a donut.
Not yet. We haven't gotten there yet. But the point is, all joking aside, folks, is that, when it comes to this DEI, ADA, and all these other stuff, voice your opinion. If you feel that, you didn't get that position because of whatever it is, let them know. Even though you're not even get the job, but the point is it correct just because you're a female? You get paid less? Is it okay because you have a disability, you're allowed to get paid $3 an hour? Why? Who made those decisions of you can't do this or you can't do that, right?
Well, and then that's another key to this. If I'm walking in, excuse me, my throat. If I'm walking in there as a blind person or somebody in a wheelchair, whatever the case may be, if I'm doing the same job as an able-bodied person that walks in there, I deserve the same pay.
Yes, sir.
Why should you pay me less than you pay them just because I'm blind or I'm in a wheelchair or I'm black or I'm brown, I'm yellow, whatever the case may be? That doesn't make any sense. And that's what DEI is here to fix.
And I'm going to go back to that example. Now, use this example every time. I'll be like a dead horse. If you're, God forbid, something happens to you, you need emergency services, are you going to care who helps you? No, just save my ass.
Man,
are you going to stop? Oh, wait a minute. You're transgender. Don't touch me. Or you're black. Or you're not going to. You're going to say, save me. Right?
I mean, same thing. I mean, I just had vascular surgery. Am I supposed to say, oh, no, I don't want him because he's Asian?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? His name is Suku Han. I mean, clearly he's Asian. I didn't have to listen to him. He didn't sound Asian, right? But because of his name, I'm assuming he was Asian, right? But my point being, I don't want no, tie-dye working on me or whatever, the racial slur that people have a tendency to use. I'm not going there. If this is the best man for the job, man, cut me open, do what you got to do, partner. You know what I'm saying? Fix what's wrong with me on the inside. I mean, people don't understand, maybe it's just me. Let me say it that way. Maybe it's just me. Skills are gifts.
Amen.
Not everybody can perform every skill.
No, you're right, Mr. Davis. You are absolutely. There's like mechanics. Not everybody can be a mechanic or a surgeon or a pilot or whatever. You're right, Mr. Davis.
It's a gift. It's a skill. Whether you came by it naturally or you had to forthwith to go and study that, right? The fact that you had the ability to learn, man, think about these doctors. They are sitting there studying the human body, the human anatomy, the whole inner workings of the human body. And they're able to go in there and make repairs and fix things that, you know what I'm saying? I mean, just like this guy I'm talking about that did the first open heart surgery back in, I guess it was like the 20s or 30s. There was an epidemic out there where they were having babies that were born with a defect on their heart, and they were called blue babies.
Okay.
Okay, and what it meant was they were unable to get enough oxygen because of the deformity through their heart, right?
Oh, okay. I thought it because they're Republicans.
So anyway, this guy came and he started working under as a lab assistant, right? Under somebody, what's the number, the presidential, the number one in DC or whatever it is, Maryland, the hospital there.
Reed.
Robert Reed or whatever it is.
Yes.
Okay.
Walter Reed.
Walter Reed. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
He went and he's working under this surgeon over there. This guy, black man, was experimenting by going into dogs, and he would create the defect, reproduce that defect, right?
Okay.
And he was learning, how to manipulate, right? Because what did they need to do? They needed to figure out how to fix these babies. Okay. According to the movie anyway, he was not allowed to perform that surgery.
Yep.
He was not even allowed, according to the movie, he was not even allowed to be in the operating room. But because the doctor that he was working under knew he did not possess the skills to do what this man had discovered, right? He told them, no, bring him in here, put a milk crate behind me, let him stand there and look over my shoulder and instruct me on what I need to do to fix this baby. And they fixed that baby. And not only that baby, they fixed hundreds of babies right behind that.
And now, what we're talking about, folks, goes back thousands and thousands of years. The start of mankind, where we have these different opinions. For example, we'll start from the Middle East, right? The religion, and then you go into the race, and then you go into colors, and then or the creed. Just all these ridiculous stuff. Look at what, not even 100 years ago, or a little over, 1916, women couldn't vote.
Right.
Right, because they're women. Does that make sense?
Because they're a woman. They weren't allowed to own property. They weren't allowed to own businesses.
But a white man could.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about again, we're going to this certain group of folks in society, and they're not just here in America. They're actually around the planet, right? They believe they are superior. Nobody is as smart as them. Nobody can do it as good as them. They want to maintain power and control over the rest of society, and this is an attack on that, okay? I mean, come on. There's women out there that are smarter than men. A whole lot of women out there that are smarter than men.
My wife just walked in, so yes, I agree with you. Women are very smart.
So, I mean, again, we don't want to get caught up in believing that any one person is smarter than somebody else because of their race or their gender or whatever the case may be. Don't get caught up in that. It's not true.
Let me go here. Okay, going back to that surgeon scenario. So if my surgeon walks in and is blind, hell yeah, don't touch me. That's the only reason. In other words, it's because based on their what? Their merit, their abilities. If you have a blind surgeon or a blind pilot, again, and they're not going to understand that. But if you have a black surgeon or transgender surgeon or pilot, who cares?
Exactly. But again, that doesn't mean because we have thousands of blind folks working in the medical industry, they just not operating on people. They in the backfield, they're working on cures for this, the cures for that. You know what I'm saying? They're doing a lot of lab work. They're doing a lot of testing and so on and so forth, right? So again, how about this guy? There used to be he was a architect, had an accident, lost his vision. Man, I can't do this no more, right? Because he can't read the blueprints, right? But that's his livelihood. That's his life. That's what he grew up doing. What did he do? He advocated for himself, and he got a blueprint embosser.
That's pretty neat.
Okay, now this man is one of the leading architects in the country.
And by the way, we don't have any comments. So come on, people, comment.
Well, I mean, I know it's a touchy situation, conversation,
but we need to have a conversation, folks, because at the end of the day, when it comes to issues that impact us, indirectly or directly, we need to talk about that. It's coffee time, right? What we do, we're having our coffee. We're talking about things in everyday life, right?
Again, and these topics today affect us directly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Your phone's going crazy over there, somebody. But anyways, again, going back to the very beginning of this whole conversation, if you're that's a support group today, I hear is really good. Mr. Dominique, I've heard a lot of good things about him. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to join in. But again, you want to join the mailing list, is info@blindunited.org. It's info@blindunited.org. Me and Mr. Davis have issues with our throat today. I think it's the weather. From cold to hot to cold.
Something like that.
And we're old.
Might be that transition. It might be that transition. So anyway, we're a couple minutes out.
Mr. Davis, before we leave, what really concerns me too about, do you hear about McDonald's?
Okay. No.
Okay, well, McDonald's, the fries has trans fat, so I wonder if they're going to be boycotted.
I love you, George. You always got jokes, my brother. You always got jokes. So anyway, I know you got to be out of here right on the money, so I'm going to give you an extra 5 minutes, my brother.
Okay.
I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation today. As always, please like, subscribe, share, comment, hit the notifications, whatever it is.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, whoa. Put the brakes. Guys. I'm not sure if it's today. What's today? Or yesterday
Monday.
or tomorrow. I think we're a year old, Mr. Davis.
Well, coffee time is right at a year old. I haven't kept up with the actual date, but
see, February the 4th. I'm not mistaken. I'm more sure it is.
Okay, well then that would be tomorrow.
That'll be tomorrow.
So, anyway, and we wouldn't be here without you guys listening in, and we wouldn't be here, continue to be here if we weren't growing. I mean, we got more and more people listening in. Got a lot of people listening in that ain't really commenting. I mean, I get it. A lot of people like to be inverts. They like to hang out in the background and just pay attention to what's being said, but don't necessarily want to jump in on the conversation. But you're more than welcome to whenever you feel like it. So on that note, George, my brother, I appreciate you for coming in today and helping me out. And I'm going to let you go a little early. Folks, we will see you tomorrow on Tuesday. Hopefully everybody has a great day, and we will talk to you again on the other side tomorrow.